but he's going to find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Barani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
But I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's just like trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for GT4 action here on Wednesday nights on the JPB Broadcasting Network. So, from the streets of Long Beach, we've gone to a land down under, more precisely to Bathurst in New South Wales, to the Mount Panorama circuit, round 8 of season 3 of the JPB GT4 Championship. My name's Alex Goldschmidt. Joining me tonight will be James Parfitt. But we are at this fantastic circuit. Let's take you through the point scores as they stand at this point of the championship, with 3 more rounds still to go. We'll head to the pros first, and leading the way after 7 rounds, Stein Wienman leading the way on 463 points, with Mikey Pollard on 407. Kim Andre Bjorklund still mathematical chance of getting the title here on season 3. He's on 388, with the likes of Miles Owens, who's catapulted his way up to 4th in the standings, ahead of Tauno Oromets, with the Estonian not racing tonight. Neither is Richard Simnor, who rounds out the top 6, so this could give the opportunity the likes of Dec Crowther, Dan Pepples, Dan Babich and Chris Barnes round out the top 10 standings. We have Anders Lidiode from Team Vikings making a return. He's 11th in the standings, ahead of Mike Pierce, with Gavin Petty, Paddy Faulkner, Andy Jones, Michael Seal, Ivan Bremer, and we've got Tom Weston and Mikael Lees rounding out the 19 in the pro driver table. Let's look at the pro team table after the 7 rounds. AIRacesummaries.com, Tracy lead the way on 686 points, with the Jesse team hot on their heels. A further 18 points adrift. You go a further 20 points back, and you round out the top 3 with Sim Racing Norway. Sim Race Sweden Esports round out the top 4 on 592, with Project 88 Pro completing the top 5 on 558. Triple Blade Oscar, DC Racing Faulkner PC, DCW Racing Blue, Team Vikings, DCW Racing, Sim Race Sweden Esports Late, and JWM rounding out in the pro team table. AM drivers, it's Tristan Engelstadt and Robert Stoughton level on points, with this and 3 more rounds to go on 433 apiece. Rob Williams for Triple Blade Gamma rounds out the top 3 on 380 points, and he's being chased by the likes of Stuart Rice, Torbjorn Mailer and Richard White, who complete the top 6. Rachel Hoff in 7th, ahead of Gary McFarlane, with Stuart Gibbons, Jess Rakowski completing the top 10. I understand that Jess won't be racing tonight either. Chris Evans, Austin Draper, Callum Milam, Tom Anderson, Gordon Hauger, Tom Bingham, Stuart Pearson and Nicolo Fornaciari round out the 18 strong. And finally, go to the AM team table, and it's Project 88 AM, 743 points that lead the way. Quite a bit ahead of Triple Blade Gamma in 2nd, with Triple P Racing 3 on 3rd, Quad Dash Racing, Triple P Racing 1, JC Sim Sports, Twisted Development Racing, Performance Link Esports, Sim Racing Norway Late, and TART, using the acronym there, with Nicola Fornaciari running as a solo team entry. And with that in mind, qualifying's underway. Let's bring James Parfitt into the booth. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, buddy. How are you?
All good. And now we've got this fearsome 6.21 kilometre, 23 turn circuit with the barriers very close towards us. We do have a little bit of runoff area, especially if they're going to the top part of the circuit at McPhillamy and Skyline. This is going to be a real test for our 23 to 25 drivers that we've got on the grid tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be as well, and it's going to be an interesting one here. We've got no Tauno Oromets, we've got no Richard Simnor either. Richard's still got computer issues, Tauno's not making it, and Robert Stoughton is not also making it here tonight. But don't forget, we have got drivers who will have to serve penalties here as well. Chris Barnes, Gordon Haig, Michael Seal, all can qualify, all can start from the pits, but due to jump starting last week at Long Beach, they have to serve a drive-through within the first 3 laps of the race. Okay, so they do have to serve a drive-through within the first 3 laps of the race. So that's the situation for Gordon Haig, Chris Barnes and Mikey Seal after the stewards judged the fact that they were all told, and they still apparently jump-started at the beginning.
Yeah, indeed. It was actually debated at length,
Oh, it
especially
was.
with Gordon Hauger. As only one car was overtaken before the start finish, but he continued to accelerate. So the penalty was upheld. He still keeps, however, his win in race 2, which is, I think, the first time in JPB GT4 series history that we actually had an overall AM winner in any one of the races so far over the past 3 seasons. But we are getting towards our first set of push laps, as there is Kim-Andre Bjorklund coming out of Murray's corner down the pit straight and into the first of 23 corners. So let's see if we can ride on board. I tell you what, let's go on board with Kim-Andre Bjorklund. He's just coming through out of Hell Corner as we speak, the number 88. So the actual in real life record was posted last November by Shane Smollen, a 2-minute 14.892. So that will be the race lap record. So as have just gone up Mountain Straights in towards Quarry Bend, so 3rd gear. Try and let the car rotate out a little bit wide and using the outside curving, shift up to 4th into the cutting. So you're going to be a little bit conservative on the brakes and steering input, tight to the wall, then accelerate, short shift up to 3rd through Griffin's Mount and now into Reed Park. And now this is where the roller coaster starts here at Mount Panorama as they go through into Sulman Park, and then there's this big old compression zone as they make the run to McPhillamy. But then James, they've got Skyline, and then it's a bit of an even bigger roller coaster. It's like Nemesis at Alton Towers.
Oh, it definitely is. It's coming into here, and I'm expecting to people end up in the left-hand side barrier there. That's purely not because they're bad drivers. It's just because it happens. It happens all the time, and it literally happens every single round I've ever done here of people out on Bathurst. It doesn't matter what car they're in. It doesn't matter how good a driver they are, Alex. They've always ended up in the pits and in that wall at that specific drop. It's a tough one because then they got to go down into Forest Elbow, of course, as well, which is another difficult corner altogether.
Yeah, now down the exit of Conrod Straits and into the chase, and Anders Lilliode seems to be lighting up the timing sheets purple in sector 4 of 6 out of the chase, and then it's the run down the hill here underneath the Armour All Bridge. Pit lane to the left-hand side, which the drivers will be using in race 2. Stein Wienman, the current overall points leader, 2-minute 14.703. Lilliode goes in on a 2:14. Oh, and as we do that, we're now with the person that's just put it onto provisional pole at this early stage. But laps are very, very few here in this qualifying session, James.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that we've had 9 drivers qualify so far. Nicolo Fonacciari, who made his debut last week at Long Beach and did a fantastic job with taking an AM podium on debut, but race 2 was one for the Italian to forget. He goes P7. Richard White crosses the line, is currently 5th in AM, but 12th overall. And yeah, that was a great marker set by Kim-Andre Bjorklund, a 10th and a half ahead of Stein Wienman. Ewan Bremer rounds out top 3 with Anders Lilliode. Mikey Pollard in 5th, rounded out by just under half a second. Gordon Hauger, who did take the win at Long Beach in race 2, despite the infraction that has cost him to start from the pit lane. He's on an absolute flyer.
Yeah, he definitely is here as well. There has been talk about AM and pros, but we have decided that these guys can battle it out here this season. I'm not saying next season is not going to change, Alex, because clearly it is. But at the end of the day, we're going to leave it as it is for now. And these guys, Robert Stotton and Gordon Hager, will battle it out. Of course, if they go up into the pros next season, if they win the championship and obviously sign up for next season, they will go into the pros. But at the moment, we're going to leave it as it is here and let these guys battle it out once more. So very interesting developments at the moment, but we're going to see how these guys get on for now, as we think it's probably a bit too late to start moving people around in the championship.
Yep, Gordon Hauger makes it a Norwegian 1-2. Just pipping Bjorklund by exactly 6/100ths of a second. Still a few drivers yet to put in their lap times, including Tristan Engelstad, whose first lap time was invalidated. Same for Rachel Hoff, same for Det Crowther. Mikey Pollard now jumps up into P3 as Bjorklund goes over 0.2 of a second quicker than Hauger to now retake provisional pole. Dan Pepples now jumps up into 5th on a 14.7. So a good improvement there by the Dutchman. So it's 3 Dutchmen rounding out the top 6 overall. But nearly 50% of the field finding track limits to be a bit of a bugbear here in qualifying. And that could be very much the case in the races, the 2 races we've got tonight.
Yeah, they're going to be... How can I put it? They're going to be a pain. And the reason they're going to be a pain is purely due to the fact that they will end up getting a slowdown if they're not careful. You know, down at the chase, down at the chicane, they're going to get one there if they take it too early or cut the corner of it. So they're going to have to be even careful, more careful than what they normally would be, I would have thought. It's not too bad coming through the mountain section. Obviously, once you drop down out of Skyline down in through the dipper, it's not too bad. You can run that as normal. Chase is going to be a bit of a pain. Hell Corner is definitely one in turn 1 as well. If you take too much of the curb on the inside or run too wide on the outside, you're going to struggle there as well. So there are places that they've got to be careful, Alex, and that's going to be the interesting thing, is how these guys cope with it and whether or not they are careful or not.
Yeah, and these walls, especially when you get through the cutting and up over the crest at Skyline, they are in very close proximity. So we have a mix of long straightaways, especially coming down up Mountain Straight and down from Forest Elbow to the Chase. Pretty much half of the circuit's length is flat out straight line speed, and I'm seeing some people coming through the speed trap at over 160 miles an hour at the moment. Rachel Hoff in the number 44 is actually one of the fastest out there. Nicola Fornaciari in the number 20 Mercedes, currently leading the way in AMS, 10th overall in qualifying, 164.8 miles an hour. Beeman now jumps up into 2nd, so splits the 2 Norwegians as Lily Jorde and Bjorklund gone to within 6/1000ths of each other. Liliode took pole, and then Bjorklund went, well, I'll have that back, thank you very much. Ewan Bremer has jumped into pit lane, and at the minute, well, Andy Jones has decided to swap cars.
Again. I'd like to point out again, this is like, I think this is every single race. He goes through the whole car range within the season, does Andy. And he's a nightmare. I've got to be honest, he's an absolute nightmare. I do love Andy Jones, but he is an absolute nightmare when he keeps swapping cars on me. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Good evening to Phil across the pond. Keeping an eye on the driver chat as well in the Discord. Richard Simnor just put in the chat, watching with Lando and Carlos. Okay. That is a bit of a...
Do you know who they are?
His cats.
Yes.
He's just posted the picture. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that, buddy.
He's there with his cats, Lando and Carlos. After
Obviously
the McLaren. McLaren fan.
Yeah, McLaren fan. But yeah, it is really coming down to the sort of like the crunch time end of the season. But at the moment, Kim Andre Bjorklund and Anders Liliorde haven't... Well, Liliorde's put a personal best in. That was, I think, Rachel Hoff going straight on at Hell Corner and then returning to garage, as there is Bjorklund, who's going to get a bit of a tow here. Looks to be... That's one of the AI Race Summaries cars just up ahead of him.
That's the red wheels. I think that's Mikey Pollard. It is Mikey Pollard, yeah. Pollard's with the red wheels.
So this is going to be approach into the chase. See Bjorklund manages to get the opportunity to extend that gap. We've got 3 minutes and 48 seconds left on the timer. Air temperature 24 degrees Celsius, track temperature 27 degrees. As Bjorklund comes out and nearly does Knight Rider ski mode coming out of Murray's corner and comes across the line and was a second down off of his personal best as Anders Liliorde, whilst pushing the limit of adhesion, has just slightly gone off circuit. There he is on his way up Mountain Straight. A real shame that we weren't able to see Liliorde last week at Long Beach as he pulls to the right-hand side of Mountain Straight to let those behind him to get through, which includes Kim-Andre Bjorklund. And I've just seen the fact that Richard's also just posted the fact it's on a big screen on his TV. So good evening, Richard. Thank you for joining us, buddy, as always.
Hey, Mum, I'm on TV. Hi, Rich. I'm in the living room. Woo! Sorry, Rich. I couldn't resist. I've always wanted to say that. Hey, Mum, I'm on TV. It's normally the signs that then people that go to stadium shows or something like that.
My mum's a beggar. Whenever I end up on camera, she'll always take a screenshot and she'll go, "Look at you!" And it'll be like when you're you're saying something and your face just ends up looking completely awful. Just go, "Why did you wait until that point?" She said, "Well, I was trying to get a better shot," and I went, "Just delete it. Just delete it. I don't want to see it again." But there is Gordon Hauger who goes top of the timesheets. Oh. Again, and that makes it a Norwegian 1, 2, 3. Veman in 4th, Pollard in 5th, Peppels, Fonaciari, Bremer, Owens, Engelstadt rounding out the top 10, covered by 8.5 tenths. Hauger decides to pull the car into pit lane. We've only got just over a minute and 45 left to go. And it's going to be interesting what's going to happen behind the top 3, but Veman needs to pull a rabbit out of his magician's hat because he's about to cross the line. And will Veman improve? Yes on lap time, no on position.
So there we go. Some of these guys are binning it off for the evening there as well. We're just waiting for confirmation from a steward here because I think I may have made a boo-boo.
Well, we are just coming to the...
It is a... Oh, okay. So that's on me there as well. I missed a bit off the bottom. It is pit lane starts for Gordon Haig, Chris Barnes, and Michael Seal.
Yeah, so it is a pit lane start for the 3 of them, but Michael Seal I don't see on the grid. I think Chris Barnes has opted to not go out for qualifying. So in that respect, and Andy Jones hasn't set a lap time. We're coming to the final 30 seconds. Dan Pepples has gone off track and returned to garage. Bonaciari's about 30% of the way through the lap. Yeah, he's coming through the cutting now, and he will quickly run out of time. So yeah, so it will be only Gordon Hauger and Chris Barnes that will start from pit lane. So we've got 22 cars on the grid for tonight, and of course, now that the timer is hitting 0, that's going to be it for qualifying. So very shortly, there's the server timeout, and we will have a slightly amended grid to how the qualifying has ended up, because Gordon Hauger did take pole position, but he will start from the pit lane. So it is effectively going to be this way for the grid flow, folks.
It will be. Give me 2 seconds. I just want to jump back onto the start screen a minute, guys. I've just got to sort out a sound issue that's going on. So give us 2 seconds, but I can't do that while we're in the race. So you have got a bit of a pace lap, so we will be back shortly.
Okay, so here is your starting grid. for race 1 of round 8 of the JPB GT4 Championship here at Mount Panorama. It's going to be Kim-Andre Bjorklund that is starting from pole. He'll have Anders Lilliode alongside with Stein Veman, Mikey Pollard, Dan Peppels, Nicola Fonacciari, Miles Owens, Ewan Bremer, Tristan Engelstadt. Then we've got Paddy Faulkner, Deck Crowther, Stuart Gibbons, Gary McFarlane, Torbjorn Mailer, Rachel Hoff, Rob Williams, Stuart Pearson, Richard White, Chris Evans, Andrew Jones, Gordon Hauger, and Chris Barnes. That is going to be your amended starting order. So the first thing that I look at on this one is the fact that Chris Barnes and Gordon Hauger will not have the benefits of warming up their tyres and brakes, and that could be a little bit of a drama on the opening lap, James.
It could be for these guys as well, but they are experienced, Alex. I'm not expecting it to go completely Pete Tong, but you never know.
Stranger things have happened.
Yes. I say that innocently, of course, like a maybe, possibly, don't know. But yes, hopefully it won't, but you never know. You never know.
Yep, so grid has been amended on our live timing, and we now have the Porsche pace car leading the field. They are starting on Conrod Straight, and they'll be heading in chase. And it'll be down to what Kim-Andre Bjorklund and Anders Lilliorde do. Veman could get the jump on the pair of them very, very quickly. Of course, the cutting is going to be the first true testing point of this opening race. Okay, it is a 15-minute sprint. We've got a 45-minute feature, the mandatory pit stop coming up with the reverse top 15 grid. So get yourselves ready for some Bathurst drama. I fear.
Gotta go.
It's got. Yep, here we go. They are going to start accelerating now as Kim-Andre Bjorklund leads the field. Green flag waves were underway here at Mount Panorama in New South Wales as Bjorklund leads the way. Lilliorde trying to keep to the inside of Hell Corner to keep Stein Veman at bay. And Veman looking very, very racy indeed. He's looking towards the outside of Mountain Straight on the number 96 Porsche as they head up the hill in towards Quarry Bend. They'll go over this slight hump here. And then it's going to be into third gear very shortly as Dan Peppels is looking very, very menacing behind Mikey Pollard. As Veman goes Hail Mary round the outside. Now, did he make the move? He did. I think he might have done so. Well, it was close. It was very, very close indeed. But Lilliorde kept the position. And there is Miles. Oh, I think that's Ewan Bremer battling away with the likes of Stuart Gibbons.
Just hit the wall. That's why Bremer's there. He's just hit the wall going round one. He bounced, going round turn two, sorry. He bounced off the wall going through Griffins, and he absolutely smacked the wall there. Lilliorde, Kim-Andre Bjorklund out in front, Mikey Pollard, Stein Veman coming through here for the first time. Here we go. Look at the plummet. Look at the descent as well. Keep it in, get the dip, come round the other side. Slight little flick up into fourth, and then he's going to be round the corner here, Alex. Straight on the brakes, getting it stopped, looking at hugging that inside wall on the gas. And away he goes as well. So this is where I think we're going to see most of the overtakes. Down this straight, down into the chase.
Peppels closing in on Veman and Pollard, and then he's got a couple of cars behind him in the form of Nicola Fonacciari and Miles Owens. So if Owens can get past Fonacciari in the Aston, in the Merc up in front of him as they go through into the chase, they'll be hard on the brakes into this combination corner, so into the left and then carry the momentum through into the right-hander, down the hill under the Armour All Bridge, through into Murray's Corner. So that's going to be one lap in the books as Miles Owens swarming all over the back of the number 20 Mercedes of Nicola Fonacciari, who went a little bit off track coming out of Murray's Corner at turn 23. And again, you can just see that Owens seems very, very confident as Peppels forces the issue up the inside of Veman, and he's gotten through. Great move there by Dan Peppels. to usurp the championship leader on the opening part of lap 2.
Yeah, Nicola Fornaciari's in there as well. He is leading the AMs, of course, sitting 5th overall at the moment, being pushed along by Miles Owens. They're going to try too wide, too deep, going into Griffin. Fornaciari runs a little bit wide, and unfortunately that's put him back under pressure from Stein Wiemann, who has cleared him here going into the front. Can Miles Owens make the most of it as well? He cannot at the moment. Chris Evans is battling away at the back here. They've got Gordon Haig, who's just taking it 3 wide as well for Gordon Haig. He's just taking it 3 wide, and now he is in up into 9th in class, 19th overall. So he really wants to get into that top 15 to hit that pole position mark for race 2.
Yeah, and now it's going to be what's going to happen behind Kim-Andre Bjorklund, who has nearly a 1.4 second lead over Anders Liliode. So it is a Norwegian 1-2. A Brit in the form of Mikey Pollard is about a second behind Liliode, trying to close on in, but he was 1.1 seconds slower on that previous lap due to battling with the likes of Peppels, Beeman, Fornaciari and Owens. Gordon Hauger has got through. Right, Andy Jones has dropped.
In the wall, yeah.
And he's in the... crikey, not exactly a... Well, you decided to change the car, Andy, and it hasn't really worked. He's just coming through the S's. And he's going to head into the dipper now. Said about this part of the circuit being one of those... Oh, he's just lost the back end. Bang, 360. Front end takes a good old wallop.
Yeah, he definitely did. You saw he clipped at the... he took the bump, and unfortunately it was a little bit too close there, and unfortunately for him, he unfortunately undersettled the car and then just couldn't get it back as Miles Owens finally makes it past Fornaciari. Gives Fornaciari a little bit of the elbows there, I think, from Miles Owens, as Ewan Bramer and Paddy Faulkner now is looking up the inside. Faulkner's just about to go up the inside into turn 1 before they've got that run out now all the way down into Griffins again. He was a little bit sneaky there, Miles Owens. He made the overtake and then just opened up the steering a little bit. He gave Gordon Haig a little bit of a love kiss there as well.
Yeah, Mikey Pollard in the meantime is starting to motor on, because now the top 3 covered by about 2.2 seconds. Pollard has just set the fastest lap of the race on a 2-minute 14.730, which actually beats the IRL GT4 lap record of a 2:14.892. Best part of just a 10th and a half. Paddy Faulkner in the number 19 to hold off the likes of Fornaciari and Owens. But Bremer is very much in this mix, along with Tristan Engelstadt. He's got the opportunity to really pull away in the championship lead, but he's got a few drivers to get past in order to battle away with Fornaciari. He's got 2 cars in between himself and Engelstadt. Gary McFarlane in the number 77 rounds the top 3 in the AM classification, currently running P12. He's made up 2 places. Biggest mover at the moment, well, Chris Barnes has made it up from 22nd to 18th, but it's Paddy Faulkner up from 11th to 6th at the minute with 8 minutes and 48 to go.
Yeah, a great action taking place here as well. These guys battling it out like absolute troopers here. And I think Bathurst is one of them circuits where you've just got to love it. I love Bathurst. Tristan Engelstadt really going at it here as well. He's got Ewan Bramer and Miles Owens, of course, both from the same team here. So Engelstadt's going to have his work cut out for him here, trying to go round into the chase now. He's got the left, then he's got the flowing right. Is he going to be able to make it through? Rachel Hoff is chasing down Gary McFarlane. Carolee Hoff's going to send it up the inside. She's going to make McFarlane go in deep. He did go in deep, but he managed to hold on to it. And then we got Chris Evans and the newcomer Stuart Pearson here as well, who made his debut in the JPB NASCARs last night. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It was absolutely amazing as them guys are battling it out further down. And now Torbjörn Mele, who has just gone and taken a dive over Chris Evans coming around the final corner.
Yeah, Veeman's just punched in the fastest lap, 2-minute 14.718. But yeah, Stuart Pearson, who we didn't he make his debut at Long Beach, if I remember correctly, at the GT4s last week?
Oh yes,
was it in the Porsche? Yeah. And he switched to the Mercedes, which obviously for him might be a more compliant car to what he's looking for. But look at this battle here. Pollard, Peppels and Vienman covered by half a second. The battle for the final step on the rostrum is clearly very much on with 7.25 minutes to go. And they're not that far away from Anders Lilliorde up the road, who's about 1.6 seconds. Bit of a glance on the wall there, I think, for Peppels. Coming through Sulman Park, heading into McPhillamy. He, luckily enough, got away with that one.
Yeah, if you haven't scraped the side of your car at Barber, you aren't driving close enough. That's the philosophy, isn't it, in general? You know, if you haven't taken out some paint, then you're not close enough to the wall. And Dan Peppels there is going to leave some marks down the right-hand side of his car. Here we go, you can see it there as well. He scraped the front wheel arch down a little bit, the passenger door here, being that these cars are left-hand drive there as well. So, yeah, for Peppels, he's going to go and have a go now. He's got the drives coming down through, down the Conrod Straight and then down into the chase. So, hopefully, he might and should be able to get past, but it's going to be a tough one. Mikey Pollard, he ain't going to roll over.
No, Peppels just got to make sure he lines it up nicely and tees up Pollard for the move that he might be able to do. He's going to look up the inside through the chase, and Pollard goes off the circuit. A little bit of a hip check between the pair, and that brings Stein Vienman right back into the battle as they nearly are 3 wide under the Armorall Bridge and into Murray's Corner. That is going to put Peppels to the outside, so he's going to drop to 5th. And the 2 AI Race Summaries cars are just alongside each other. And Vienman pulls ahead of his teammate, Mikey Pollard. That's the Dutchman in the points lead overall, up to 3rd.
And do you know did you notice what went on there?
Yeah, there was...
Pollard got a slowdown coming through the chase, right? He clearly got a slowdown. He missed the whole chicane. Vienman then pulled up alongside, blocked Peppels in while Pollard served his slowdown. So Peppels couldn't get through as both of them guys were slowing down for letting Pollard's slowdown come off, and then Peppels couldn't make it. He has made it through past Stein Vienman now as well. It looks like he's also in a bit of a trouble with a slowdown himself. But that, you got to admit, if you're going to help your teammate out, that's a fine way of doing it, I can tell you that much.
Well, considering the fact that Vienman is leading the standings, and you could see that there probably might have been a pre-race discussion, like saying, look, if you're finding you haven't got pace, as that was Engelstadt also scraping the barriers at the same point that Peppels did. So the right-hand side of that Beamer is going to look a little bit worse for wear. He's just behind Ewan Bremer. This is the battle for 9th overall, but more importantly, Tristan holding on to 2nd in the AM class, and there was a sharp intake of breath and a big sigh from the other side of the commentary box. What have you seen, James?
Oh, did you not see Engelstadt absolutely clip the wall there? He's just done it again, coming through Forest Elbow as well on the exit of Forest Elbow. We were right on the front right with him at the moment he went and hit the wall, and unfortunately I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting to get... Oh, he's got to be careful. He can't keep hitting it like that, otherwise he's going to be in trouble, as Peppels now is making his way down, trying to get past Mikey Pollard here. Pollard's got to send him in deep. He's got to send him in. He didn't do what Peppels did, mind you, because Peppels went in deep and sent Pollard off the side of the circuit. So Pollard went in, but he didn't go in as deep as he probably could have done and squeezed him out as such here. That, you know, we have seen such controversy in real life racing about doing that, but at the end of the day, you know, if you're racing, I'm guilty of it as well. I go into the corner, I overtake somebody, just open up the steering a little bit, so they've got to back out to try and make it here as well. So, yeah, great racing from Mikey Pollard, nice and clean. He probably could have opened it up a little bit more.
Yeah, but now it's become the Mikey Pollard train, because you've got Peppels, Vienman, Faulkner, Fornaciari, Owens, Bremer and Engelstadt. Literally cannot separate them for toffee. This is how, and Faulkner's going to be looking up the inside of Vienman into Borry. Is he going to get through? He's going to try and make it too wide. He's taking a tighter line. Vienman is giving him enough room, but up the hill in the run towards the cutting and then into Griffin's Mount. Faulkner has to just sort of back out of it and just bide his time.
Yeah, he is at the moment as well for Paddy. He's doing rather well here in that Aston Martin. Fornaciari behind with Miles Owens again behind Fornaciari. So that's going to be a bit of a problem for Owens. He did manage to clear him once, and now he's stuck behind him again here as well. So unfortunate for Miles Owens. What about Torbjörn Mele? Well, he's chasing down Stuart Pearce. They've got Andy Jones, who's obviously, as we know, changed over to the BMW here as well. But at the moment, Torbjörn Mele, Stuart Pearce is having a nice little battle. Richard White in the Porsche doing an absolute great job. So great action all the way through. We've kind of got this group, and then we've got this group. And that's kind of the thing that's happening at the moment, especially as we're going to be coming on to the final lap.
Yeah, also, biggest mover in the race so far. Chris Barnes now up to 13th overall and is closing in on Rachel Hoff, who is looking very, very solid potential podium. She's got about 2 seconds between herself and Rob Williams. As the Pollard train continues, Pepples versus Veidman into the chase.
Oh, no!
Keeps it running. Veidman's lost it!
Oh, Steve Veidman, around he goes. I can guarantee he's not going to be happy about that. And well, let's just say he's not going to be happy here as well. He was alongside at this moment. Pepples comes over. Oh, did he give him enough room, do we think? Or did he not? It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But that could be classed possibly as a racing incident. If they were side by side, then they've got to give each other enough room. But there might have been a little bit of our netcode friend involved. That you just don't know, because it was so close. And plus, with the Helicam shop, I was trying to have a look, and I was like thinking, was it not? You know, was there contact? But that's the thing, folks. At a circuit like this, you are going to
in the wall.
Again, and it's the left-hand side that's taking a pound.
Yeah, the only good thing about that is he's got silver on the car, so it doesn't really show up where the damage is. So for Tristan, he's done a great colour scheme for it in the wall here at Bathurst, and nobody's going to see the damage. But he has hit the right front. He's now hit the left side as well. It reminds me of Days of Thunder, where the crew chief just goes and kicks the door. And he said, "What'd you do that for?" He said, "That's the only part of the car you didn't hit."
Yeah, exactly. But we're coming down to the final few seconds. Anders Liliorde has just put in the fastest lap of the race, so 2-minute 14.423, as Pepples is on the hurry up now because he's not too far away from Mikey Pollard. So battle for the lead is now expanded to about 9/10 of a second. Pepples might have an opportunity if he lines it up nicely and through to Forrest. Oh, he went into the back slightly. Got a bit checked up by Mikey Pollard. This could be the run that he needs, but look at this. Faulkner is right with Pepples. So Pepples is going to be at danger's door because he's got someone charging after him, and that's Paddy Faulkner, who started down in 11th and is gunning for a top 4 finish. He's going to try and plant it to the outside of the chase as Pepples takes the conventional racing line. And Pepples will nose ahead at the moment, keeps in front. There's Fornaciari. Oh, don't you dare, Paddy Faulkner. He turns Pepples around. Fornaciari to the left. Pepples hits the barriers, but it's Kim Andre Bjorklund and Anders Liliorde that make it a Norwegian 1-2 and 2 Porsches. And it's all gone heavens to Betsy wrong for everybody. Faulkner sideways, Owens into the side of him. And it all started from that slight contact. We're riding on board with Nicola Fornaciari. And it all started because Faulkner
Daddy.
This is how I see it. It was the way that Faulkner he went side by side with Pepples. And Pepples was just in front of him. And you can see the slight contact, slightest of touches between the two. The stewards will, I think, very much be having a look at that because Pepples managed to stop it in time for being on the racing line, and then Faulkner switches to the inside. There wasn't really a gap there, to be honest with you, because Pepples had positioned the car in the correct place.
Oh yeah, then Miles Owens and Paddy get into it after that as well, and everybody else kind of like, what's going on? Trying to go round him here as well. We're just waiting for Gordon Haig. It looks like he may have had a bit of a moment himself here. He's ended up all the way down the back end of the field, further down than he was last time. This is Gordon Haig. He went and did that. unfortunately, for Gordon Haig there as well. So we're just waiting for Gordon Haig to come over the line. There he goes now as well, and we will be able to bring you up the results from Heat 1 here, Alex.
Thank you very much, James. So, Norwegian 1-2 with Kim Andre Bjorklund and Anders Lilliorde in first and second, respectively, in the 88 and the 96. And then rounding out the top three from AIRaceSummaries.com, Tracy Mikey Pollard in the 73. And now Nicolo Fornaciari goes even better than his debut in race one last time. Takes the win in the AM class ahead of Ewan Bremer for Sim Racing, Race Sweden Esports late, with Tristan Engelstadt taking a second, finishing sixth overall, ahead of Dec Crowther. Stein Wieman recovers to finish in eighth, ahead of Miles Owens and Paddy Faulkner, who rounds out the top 10. Congratulations to Rachel Hoff from Triple Racing 3. She picks up the AM podium in 11th, ahead of Chris Barnes, Rob Williams and Gary McFarlane completing the top 5 in AM. Dan Pepples, after that moment just occurred through the exit of the chase, ends up 15th. Richard White's in 16th, ahead of Torbjorn Mele, 17th position. We still have a few more cars to get through, which includes Stuart Gibbons, Andrew Jones, Stuart Pearson, Chris Evans and Gordon Hauger rounding out the 22-strong field. And what does that mean? Dan Pepples will be on the pole position for the reverse top 15 for our feature race, a 45-minute race set to take place here on the this fantastic circuit that's been around since March of 1938, and this year will celebrate its 86th anniversary. But
I didn't realise it's the same age as you, Alex.
Shut up. Shut up, you tart. Right. Says the man who needs to go to Specsavers.
Hey, I did actually as well. Talking about that, though, I got Stuart Bickley in the YouTube chat. James, you beautiful specimen. Hope you are well. See, Stuart knows me well, dear sir. He knows me well.
Yeah. Yeah. Rob Stoughton saying, "Come on, P88, we want this team championship."
He's trying, Robert. He's a one-man band while you're at home watching the broadcast. He's out here fighting for you. Where's your fighting spirit, young man?
Yes, indeed. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye also on our GT4 drivers chat. Richard Simnell saying Pollard train. Yeah, forget Jarno Trulli. He's retired from racing. Well, his son's racing anyway, Enzo, these days. But yeah, I think that was just the appetizer for what's coming up, and that's going to be the main course and dessert all thrown into one.
And they've got pit stops to throw into the mix as well. We have said one, but it is bar first and it's quite long. So, you know, we'll have to see what happens there as well. Oof, level to the max, says Richardson. Hey, I'm normally at the top. I deserve a break. Well, I think that's a matter of opinion, Robert Stoughton.
Well, you were. Yeah. You were, Rob. But that's now changed. But of course, as James said, there will be drop scores coming into consideration as we will head to... Now, for those wondering about the rest of the calendar, it is Red Bull Ring next week, Mugello on the 21st, and then the final round just the day before we've got the leap year here in 2020. Twin Ring Motegi with the 1 hour night feed. And I'm looking to that one. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be an interesting one as well, by what we hear regarding track lights. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one, I think, as well. So, but it's going to be exciting. We've got 1 minute of warm up. The driver's just chilling out as well. Alex probably going to get a cup of tea or coffee, or I don't know.
Or they've probably had their quick comfort break.
That's also a possibility. They do have 45 minutes, mind you. So, you know. I'm surprised you haven't run for one, actually, Alex, to be fair, here as well. But 40 seconds on the clock, dear sir.
Yeah, and still, at the end of the day, the comments are coming in on the GT4 driver chat. Rob Stoughton saying Red Bull. Yeah, and just an average sim racer win for Team TART with Nico. Yeah, well deserved. He was very, very calm, whilst others were getting a little bit too hot under the collar in that. And that just goes to show how quickly a race can be turned on its head especially when multiple drivers ended up doing 360s, especially if they were making contact with the barriers, either through their own, or through a mistake of their own, or not through a mistake of theirs, but of somebody else's. And oh, well, Richard says, well, my PC will be sorted tomorrow. I'll be back in the saddle at the Red Bull Ring next week. Good to hear it. So Dan Pepples will start on the top 15 reverse grid pole position for race 2 of round 8 here at Mount Panorama. Gary McFarlane in the 77 will be alongside with Rob Williams and Chris Barnes of row 2. Rachel Hoff and Paddy Faulkner, row 3. Miles Owens and Stein Wieman round out the top 4 rows, with Dec Crowther and Tristan Engelstadt completing the top 10. Ewan Bremer and Nicola Fonacciari completing the top 6 rows, with Mikey Pollard, Anders Liliode and Kim Andre Bjorklund rounding out the top 15. Richard White will start in 16th alongside the 88 Porsche. Torbjorn Mailer in the 242 alongside Stuart Gibbons in the 47 on row 9. Andy Jones in the 4 and Stuart Pearson in the 23 round out the top 20. Bringing up the rear of the field will be Chris Evans, number 12 Merck, and in the number 71 McLaren, Hauger. Of course, strategy is very, very crucial, as we always say in these feature races here, James, but got this added bit of possible drama, basically pit stops, speeding in the pit lane, plus also strategy. You go all guns blazing from the minute the lights go out.
It's going to be interesting. I think Bathurst should be good with one stop on 50% fuel, but there's always a possibility that they gun it and then unfortunately they don't quite get to the end. So if it's going to be one, there might have to be a little bit of fuel saving involved.
Indeed. So we're under starters orders for race 2, the feature here, a round 8 of the JPB GT4 series here at Mount Panorama in Bathurst, New South Wales, and Pepples has already floored it. Wait for the green flag to wave. There's Barney, the flag marshal, and he sets the field in motion for race 2 here in a land down under, as it's 3 wide going into Hell Corner, with the number 19 of Paddy Faulkner hung out to dry a little bit there. I think that might have been, that was Miles Owens, Stein Wieman that were alongside him, as Paddy Faulkner drops to 8th as Pepples is trying to pull away, but Gary McFarlane in the 77 AM car is not letting him do so at this early stage.
He's keeping with him, which is important for Gary McFarlane. He's got to use him as much as possible, with Chris Barnes up behind him and Rob Williams, behind that as well. Here goes Rachel Hoff. I think she's just about to lose a position to Miles Owens. She does do there as well. Stein Wieman with Paddy Faulkner. I don't expect that to be much of a competition. However, I wouldn't be taking too wide through the mountain section. I can see that one not ending well.
Oh, that was very, very close there for Wieman, who was literally door handle to door handle. He still kept it there, through into Solman, as they're going to go through the compression zone here at McPhillamy, and there is a cloud of dust in the background. Who's gone off? It's Tristan Engelstadt. And Wieman's in the pits as well.
Yeah, Wieman started it. Wieman started it, I think. Here as well, unfortunately.
Okay, so he's gone side by side with Faulkner, but he's lost the back end ever so slightly, hit the wall, and then Engelstadt's been caught up in it as Wieman was pirouetting. Oh dear, well, the championship leader is not having a good one, and Dec Crowther's also in the pits. Chris Barnes battling away Gary McFarlane as Pepples has bolted to a 1.8 second lead. These two are going side by side. Barnes is going to nose ahead into the chase under the braking zone, and is he going to clear him beforehand? Yes,
Miles Owens!
Miles Owens has just turned around. Rob Williams in the 93, the triple blade Gamma Mercedes. That was a move that really wasn't on. I think Williams was trying to close the. Well, he's gone across him, and
there was initial contact here. If you watch him as they come round the right-hander, Wieman hits him, unsettles Williams. He tries to get the car back and then ends up spinning in front. There's the contact there with our good old friend on the internet. And then, unfortunately, Williams is all out of shape and just cannot get that car going straight before he ends up going round there at the hands of Stein Veerman. As I say, I think there was some little bit of a netcode situation, but it's still developing here as well. Kim-Andre Bjorklund, Mikey Pollard behind that with Kim there as well. Pollard on our outside, on the right-hand side of the screen now in the AR Race Summaries car, as Bjorklund does hug that inside line. Is he going to force Pollard out of it? He's not. They're going to be too wide here as well. No, Pollard manages to get his nose in front, takes the place and takes the space away here as well. So Mikey Pollard has got Bjorklund pressurising him with Andy Jones and also Ewan Bramer behind that as well. So yeah, unfortunately for Stein Veerman, Tristan Engelstad and Deck Craver all got caught up there. Tristan was the most unluckiest one. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Deck here. I think Deck just ended up getting caught up. Oh yes, there's Stein Veerman. Deck's in the wall. He's biting. Boom into Engelstad. Oh, Bjorklund.
Bjorklund had absolutely nowhere to go on that one. He just literally, I think it was more of a glancing blow because the rate of speed that Bjorklund was carrying into that situation was significant.
Yeah, but they were going, you know, pretty much the foot to the floor, aren't they, at that point? They're not holding back. You know, and unfortunately for Stein Veerman, it was just kind of not a good place at the right time as Gary McFarlane goes over to the right-hand side with Rachel Hoff there moving on the inside as well. Miles Owens again behind him here once more. And they do settle in on that one. So, yeah, Gary McFarlane going in a little bit deep, though, however, into the chase.
Yeah, and that means Rachel Hoff is running P3 overall with just under 5 minutes completed. Here comes Miles Owens through on McFarlane. There's Faulkner just behind. A little bit of a scrape on the right rear for Rachel Hoff. So at some point, probably through Silman and McPhillamy, she's had a little bit of a slight graze against the wall as Faulkner's looking up the inside of McFarlane into our corner. Is he going to try and get through? He attempts to. But McFarlane was just a little bit too far ahead as Faulkner's just started flashing the lights. Paddy, I don't think the move was possibly on because Gary had the opportunity to put that car on the racing line through T1.
He did, and they've all been told the AMs don't need to move over. It's all on the car behind, apparently, as I've been told multiple times from various people. So, unfortunately for Paddy there, he's just got to hold on and just wait. He can't do nothing about it at the moment. He's just got to hold on and wait for his opportunity. And if that opportunity comes, he can take it. If it doesn't come, well, unfortunately, he's stuck.
Between a rock and a hard place as well to boot.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, Beeman has actually not rejoined. And this could probably be one of his drop scores, potentially. Stuart Pearson is in the pit lane. Deck Crowther is back out on circuit, having spent nearly 2.5 minutes in the pit lane. Pearson's been in there for nearly 2 minutes. Ingolstadt, I think, might have engaged a fast repair if he's allowed to, and has managed to get that car back out on circuit. Of course, Rob Stoughton, and I know you're watching, Rob, I've seen you put a few comments in the YouTube chat, be thinking, oh, an opportunity for me to get back at him at Red Bull Ring next week. Well, we'll have to wait and see on that one, Mr. Stoughton.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be an interesting one, the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be very tight on off tracks, the Red Bull Ring, and I think overall it could be an interesting race as Miles Owens has just got past Rachel Hoff, and we've got that's Lily Orde flashing McFarlane as well. No, poor old Gary. He went on the grass, he went to go and do some braking, and unfortunately, he tagged a few on the way there, but he didn't spin it, he kept it straight, he said, go for it, Gary, it was awesome.
Yeah, sometimes it can be very, very close indeed as McFarlane runs wide through into Murray's corner, and that has allowed Lily Orde to literally sneak up the inside like a rat up a drain pipe. Thank you very much, I'll take that. And Faulkner's also got through on him too. Bonacciari also is there, so there is an opportunity for Bonacciari make up some good ground here. He's pump drafting McFarlane down Mountain Straight. They will head towards Quarry Bend very, very shortly here at turn 2 over the crest. Bonacciari looking to the inside. He's going to try and look up the inside of McFarlane, but decides to back out of it. There was a little bit of a lift there from the number 20 Mercedes. Don't really want to chance your luck But we have seen, like you said, Gordon Hauger, who's now moved up 10 positions. He's up to P12 is the number 71 McLaren. And he managed to make it 3 wide into Quarry Bend and still got through on 2 other drivers in race 1, despite the dramas that he suffered at the end of the race.
Yeah, he did really well. He's now got Andy Jones, of course, in front of him. Jones in the BMW this week in a very bright liveried machine there. Can't really miss Andy Jones this week, can we, in that BMW there, as he's changed cars once again. I think Andy Jones has started from the back more times than anybody else due to the fact he keeps changing cars, so he might want to try and settle down and stay in one car if it's possible for Andy Jones, but I'm sure he'll probably change it again after this race, no doubt.
Yeah, very much the case. So 36.5 minutes. When are you sort of possibly predicting going to see drivers go into the pits? Because of course this is a 6.2 kilometre circuit. There is a lot of high speed. These cars, I'm looking at the high speed at the moment. Nicola Fornaciari has, well, we've had Deck Crowther, apparently has done 180. How? But 168 to 170 miles an hour would be quite reflective of what a GT4 can do in a straight line, especially if you tow.
Well, clearly, if you're not Deck Crowther, you're carrying a secret bottle of Noz in the back of that car and getting 180 miles an hour out of it somehow. I don't think that's right, Alex. I think that could be a little bit of a timing error there as well. But at the end of the day, I would expect any time from 30 to 15 minutes, depending on how they're getting on and what the fuel intake's like here at this circuit. And it's going to be tough for them, I think. They've just got to make sure they can get it right and plan it properly. And I think that's always a difficult scenario. But I think any time within the next 5 to 6 minutes, we might see the first people start coming into the pits. So we'll keep an eye out and see what happens. Torbjörn Melle has been involved in a little bit of an incident as well for himself, with Stu Gibbons off the side of the circuit and Torbjörn Melle there as well. As side by side, Mikey Pollard, Gary McFarland. He's trying his hardest to stay out of the way, bless him. But he is unfortunately there as well. Sometimes it's just better to race what you've got in front of you for Gary rather than trying to let him through.
Kim-Andre Bjorklund gave Andy Jones a bit of a squeeze, and now the 77 of McFarlane has gotten back through. This is getting very, very hairy all of a sudden. As, yeah, I mean, Andy Jones was very, very lucky that he didn't get caught out by Gary McFarlane. Gordon Hauger was trying to make it 3 wide through Quarry and into Sulman, and that was risky at its very, very best. But again, Hauger is just picking off opponents like it's nothing at the minute. I mean, we saw that performance at Long Beach where he just, okay, yeah, irrespective of what happened in the penalties. Oh! Farlan has just hit both sides, and Andy Jones has gone spinning around again. He got caught up after McFarlane had his incident. So Jones and McFarlane, Jones has gone pit lane, and dearie me, again, it's just like, that's the thing about this part of the circuit, going through the S's and into the dipper. You are guaranteed that at some point someone's going to drop a clanger and do a pinball wizard. There you see McFarlane, and he hits the left rear of Andy Jones and spins the Art Car BMW M4 around like a whirling top, and yeah, Jones is straight away into the pits, and that's hefty damage. The number 4 BMW, just like...
you know what? I don't know if he got hit by Andy Jones.
It was Hauger. Yeah. Hauger was actually coming up because he was putting Jones under significant pressure. So let's take another look at it from the from onboard from Andy Jones. It was Hauger. I think it was Hauger that might have just got a little
I'm not
bit
entirely sure how that one was going to work out here. We'll go on board again and just slow it down. They start coming in now. Hauger is literally there. Jones has gone and hit the wall. I don't think it'll look at that gap. Oh, that's
painful for Andy Jones again. Veenman is not rejoining the session, so he's going to take this as a drop score. And here we are with Rachel Hoff, who is still holding on to the AM class lead, but look who's breathing up her exhaust pipes, Nicola Fornaciari. So the battle for the race lead in AM is very much on, and Fornaciari wants to do the double here at Mount Panorama. Hoff has already had a podium. Fornaciari took the win in the opening race tonight, and these two are line astern, about 0.3 of a second separating them. Rachel Hoff did a 2:17.4 last time round. Fornaciari a high 2:14.9. But Rachel Hoff is just keeping calm in this situation. That's one of the things you need to do in this circuit, especially this part of it, going through the S's and into the dipper on the run down to Forest Elbow. You've just got to place the car exactly where you need to and not make any unforced errors.
Yeah, it's all about praying as you go in and thanking on the way out. That's the way it works for me here as well as they're coming down. If I make it through there, I thank, and if I'm on the way there, I'm praying. I can tell you that much, so I get through here as well. So for Fornaciari has managed to hold on to Rachel Hoff. Can he make that move down into the chase now? Is he going to be able to get it here? He's got to be looking at that, sort of waiting for Hoff to move over. Now take the inside line. He's trying. He's later on the brakes. Did he make it through? No, he did not. For Nicola Fornaciari, too late on the brakes there.
That's allowed Mikey Pollard and Kim Andre Bjorklund to get through. Meanwhile, in clear air and 3.7 seconds up the road, Dan Pepples is leading the way. Chris Barnes in second, Miles O in third. Anders Liliorde with the fastest lap of the race is 10 seconds behind Pepples. He's currently the 96 is currently running fourth ahead of Paddy Faulkner. Rachel Hoff holds on to the AM class lead as Fornaciari drops to within 1.7 seconds of Gordon Hauger in the 71 McLaren. That's 9th and 10th respectively, and that's for the second position in the AM class.
Yeah, them guys are going to be battling it out soon, I would have thought, if Rachel Hoff does manage to hang on to this position. Can Fornaciari get himself back up there? He knows he made a mistake. He's going to be upset with himself because it was his own mistake. He had the inside line. He could have broke as well a little bit earlier than he tried to and just couldn't get that stop. There was no way he was going to be able to get it stopped here. Rachel Hoff, I think, is hanging on, but I think she's hanging on by her fingertips of a climb on the edge of a cliff here, mate. I've got to be honest, because Mikey Pollard should make it through, Bjorklund should make it through, and then it's back with Fornaciari having a go once more.
Yeah, Fornaciari is now about a couple of seconds behind Rachel Hoff as they go through the S's into the dipper. It's just measuring the speed and the steering through this respective part of the circuit. It's always quite fearsome no matter what goes through. Of course, Panorama did actually be at one point the host for the Australian Formula One Grand Prix, as Rachel Hoff went a bit deep into Forest Elbow. I think might have just slightly caught the wall on the right-hand side, and that is going to allow Pollard to get through. And Rachel Hoff, don't go two wheels on the grass on the right-hand side of Conrod Straight at that kind of speed. You know, they're pushing north of 160 miles an hour. Pollard is going to get through just before the chase, sweeps to the outside, clears Hoff, and then down the gearbox into the chase. Bjorklund is there. Fornaciari has closed on in. Rachel Hoff has opened the door a little bit there for Kim Andre Bjorklund. And that in turn, Bjorklund in the pits with 29 to go on the timer.
Yeah, Haig in the pits as well. He's got to get it stopped, mind you. Get it stopped. The line's there. There you go. Gordon Haig in as well. But Ewan Bramer has just gone through. He's chasing down Fornaciari. Rachel Hoff still managing to hang on. And now she's got Fornaciari behind her here as well. So for poor old Rachel Hoff, Fornaciari is just not giving up here, Alex, at the moment. He is climbing all over the back of her with 28 minutes to go.
And I've just seen that Chris Evans, the number 12, has just returned to garage, so has just had an off, and I think might have hit the barriers.
Yeah, we can have a quick look at that one. Gary McFarlane looked like he's also made an error. Oh no, Chris just goes into the pit lane. Did he make it? Oh no, he did not. That is not a good way of entering the pit lane there for Chris Barnes. And Gary McFarlane, unfortunately, as soon as we see the mounted section, he's on that outside curb. Here we go. There's the curb. It sucks you in.
That's just line.
That's a gong for Gary McFarlane, unfortunately, on that one there, buddy. Because that's not going to be a recovery that he's going to be able to make easy. And unfortunately, the toe to pit time There's probably around about 2.5 minutes here as well to get that car back in. So if he's going to want to get it back in, he needs to. The only good thing for Gary McFarland is he could possibly, and I say this in a distinct way, he might get out before going a lap down. They have got to complete 75% of the race here this evening as well. So 75% of the race, we're looking at probably round about 3 laps. So we'll have to see how it works out. But at the moment, McFarland's still on the lead lap. And now we've got Liliorde, who's got Paddy Faulkner coming right up behind him. Here he goes now. Is Paddy going to be able to make it through? He takes the curb. The Aston Martin bounces a little bit there as well. Now, Liliorde sent it in and managed to hold on to that position. But Fornaciari, as he won Bremer, right, is he going to get a 2 for 1? He's trying. And Huff's not quite giving up as they go on that run down into Murray's now there as
check between Fornaciari and Hoff going down the hill into Murray's corner. And has the Italian got through? Yes, he has. But that was ever so close. Rachel Hoff having to put on this steering reaction very, very quickly to avoid spearing off into the right-hand side of the barriers, down the dip, off under the Armour All Bridge, and into Murray's corner. Liliorde has had Faulkner get through on him. That would have been at Hell Corner as they're up Mountain Straights in towards Quarry Bend, and Faulkner still holding on to that position. But we know Liliorde is a bit like a dog with a bone. He won't let that go.
Yeah, he's not going to give up. He's Norwegian Viking spirit, isn't he? It flows through his bloodstream, and I can guarantee he's not going to give that up easily. However, he is carrying damage on the front end of that Porsche as well. It looks like his nose has taken a little bit of a beating there for Liliorde, so I don't know if that was at the top of the hill with the incident we had earlier on, of course, but he has got damage, so if that's affecting him, it doesn't look like it's affecting him. His speeds are okay, his steering's okay, so we'll keep an eye on whether or not Liliorde has got a little bit of damage or not, as he will enter down onto the Conrad. I think that's going to be the best place, to be honest with you, Alex, to see if he has got damage or not.
Yeah, that is the crucial part right now, that Liliorde's just got to do what he can in order to just try and keep Faulkner honest. But yet again, the twin turbo V8 underneath that bonnet of that Aston Martin is allowing Faulkner to pull away from the Porsche. And that just goes to show that the sheer grunt and that damage is actually causing the problem for Liliorde in terms of straight line speed through the speed trap. Previously, Liliorde 155 miles an hour. It's losing 6 miles an hour to Paddy Faulkner, which is around 10 kph, give or take. So Liliorde, he's going to go into the pit lane. He might have to repair that damage to get that car back to full racing fitness. Yeah,
we've got Evans, Williams and White here battling it out. This is for the Pros 7, 6 and 5. Williams just does tap the brakes there as well. And now he's trying to go in through bar first here, down through into the dipper we go. Is he going to be able to hold it on? Is that Mercedes going to be okay? We saw it not with Gary McFarland earlier, and unfortunately for Gary McFarland, it ended with him in the wall, with that Merc getting it all unsettled. Hoff and Bremer are into the pits now as well. White's just tagged the wall. It's going to put him under pressure from Williams here. Williams has got it open. He's got the door wide open. He is going to make this opportunity over Richard White. He did tap the wall coming out of Forest Elbow there. Williams topping north of 144, 146. Is he going to get above 150? He is. Oh, it's going to be a close one, but I think Williams has just managed to make that work.
Yep, topping out at around about 156 miles an hour. As that's getting a bit close between Chris Evans and Richard White. Evans to the outside, coming through the exit of the chase, heading down into Murray's corner. Bit of door checking, a little bit of paint swapping between the Mercedes and the Porsche. That is Evans through on White for 14th on the road, and they have got not that far behind them. I think I just caught sight of Justin Engelstadt, and well, that car is unfortunately not going anywhere, I'm afraid.
No, I wondered if yeah, I think he's tried to come out before the repairs have done, and now he's had to jump back into the pits. So they've got a funny feeling he tried to come out before the optionals. there as well. And unfortunately for Gary McFarland, he is going to be out here today as well. But yeah, some great races still happening. Pit stop strategies are running at the moment. Nicola Fornaciari is the last one to make a pit stop with Chris Barnes here as well. So Barnesy is the first one who's made his stop, although he didn't make his stop very cleanly, Alex. He went into the pits and unfortunately missed the entry and went on the grass, and it was all a bit messy from, was it Chris? I'm sure it was Chris Barnes, or was it Chris Evans that did that?
It was Chris Evans.
Evans, sorry, yeah. So Barnesy there as well did get into the pits, out the pits. 54 seconds, however. He's slightly slower than a lot of the guys around him, with Vondre, Bjorklund, Bramer and Haig all taking 51 and 52, with 49 on the clock there as well for Ewan Bramer. So Bramer taking 49-second pit lane time.
Well, he was only in his pit box for 13.1 seconds, so Bremer might have that Porsche under very good fuel mileage around here at Mount Panorama. So we are nearly a minute past the halfway point, having lapsed here for race 2 of round 8 of the JPB GT4 series here at this fantastic New South Wales facility. Nicola Fornaciari pits from the lead in AM, and has just been in the pits for 16.1 seconds. As he come out in front of that is Stuart Gibbons behind him, and Gordon Hauger, who's now set the new fastest lap of the race at 2:14.182. It's about 2.4 seconds up the road from the Italian up Mountain Straight.
Yeah, he has as well. What's worse for Fornaciari is Haig's pit. He's pitted. So Gordon's pitted there as well. He's got his one stop out the way, and with 20 minutes to go here, it's going to be interesting to see how this fuel strategy starts working out now. This is the moment we should start seeing the fuel strategy kicking in, whether or not. I'm sure they should be able to make this on 50% with one stop, but you're just never quite sure, because last time I think I remember did a race where I was like, yeah, they're going to get there on one, and they ended up taking like 2. So I'm not always great with a fuel calculator, to be honest.
I think it's the biggest point, I think, with regards to fuel management for all these drivers, is that if you've got a little bit of a slipstream, say down Conrod Straight, you're going to be using less throttle, as Gordon Hauger was very close to the wall down through the right-hand side of the dipper. And I think might have just gotten away with possibly scraping the right-hand side of that McLaren. I don't think there's any damage on there, but it was very close to the wall on the right-hand side of the exit of Forest Elbow. But yeah, if he's got, like, say, Ewan Bremer in front of him, there will be a little bit of momentum carry through the slipstream, and that might give him an extra couple of kilometres an hour or two. And if he's not at full throttle, he's like, say, at 90-95%, that might give him like 0.1, maybe a couple of 0.2, 0.3 of a litre. That might make all the difference if he times it right. And that's going to be quite crucial. What lap did Gordon Hauger actually pit on, James?
Lap 7.
So he's been running for about 5 laps.
He's back in again.
I think that might be a penalty. Has he been caught possibly speeding in pit lane? If that's so, that's a drive-through.
See him coming down now. Doesn't look like he's going to be stopping. It looks like he's going straight through. So maybe Fornaciari did get done with a speeding penalty there as well, and he has gone straight through and out the other side. Unfortunately for Ewan Bramer, he's got the ever-fast flying Norwegian Gordon Haig in that McLaren right behind him here as well. So nice little battles taking shape at the moment, Alex. Some good action to be looking at. Pit stops are done, apart from the top 5 haven't pitted at the moment, and I would probably expect them in over the next couple of laps, to be honest.
And also with that, Stuart Gibbons, 2nd in AM, 10th overall, has also yet to do his mandatory stop. So 6 drivers left, 18, just under 18 and a half minutes to go. Track temperature is dropping, cloud cover overhead, 24 degrees air, 25.5 degrees track temperature. And Dan Pepples has got a comfortable 10-second lead over Sim Race Sweden Esports teammate Miles Owens. Now, I would imagine that there's not been a Sim Race Sweden Esports 1-2 as of yet, but the way things are going, it is looking very probable.
Could well be, but they have all got a pit. And we've seen if that was for Chiari on a penalty there, it's obviously quite hairy coming into the pit lane. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful. Liliode is being tracked down by Pollard at the moment. Pollard's not too far away, 7/10. We'll get the benefits of the draft here as well. So he could end up a nice half a second closer by the end of the lap here as well. So for Pollard, he's just got to make sure he stays as close as possible.
Yeah, that's going to be, as you said, very, very crucial indeed. So at the minute, we still have 19 out of the 22 starters. Number 13, there's still plenty of twists and turns in this story that's currently being written here at Mount Panorama, and thank you very much for everyone joining us. And there goes Gordon Hauger up the inside of Ewan Bremer. That is for 8th position through at Quarry Bend. Gordon Hauger made that look very, very easy indeed, but it's far from easy at turn 2.
Yeah, it definitely is there as well. And we've got Robert Stotton sitting in YouTube chat going, no, 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 here as well. So unfortunately for him, Gordon Hay has taken the lead in the AMS. Engelstadt and Williams, they've been nose to tail for the last few laps here. Been keeping an eye on them slowly as this has been developing. Engelstadt trying to go up the inside in that BMW. Williams does give him room there, so Engelstadt does. Oh, he's bounced the curb all the way round. And now Williams has got Evans right behind him as well. Triple Blade boys here are battling away with the quad dash of Tristan Engelstadt.
Covered by just over 6/10 of a second. It was 4/10 heading into the cutting between the trio. Mikey Pollard closing in on Anders Liliorde. Gap is about just under 9/10 of a second. Well, Ewan Bremer is not letting Gordon Hauger get away. They are still about 8/10 of a second apart, and now the gap between Gordon Hauger and Kim Andre Bjorklund has just dropped to under 8.5 of a second. Gordon Hauger at 2-minute 14.263 on the previous lap. 2-minute 15.055 by Kim Andre Bjorklund. So nearly 8/10 of a second taken out of the 88 Porsche by the 71 McLaren. We've got a third of this race left to go, 15 minutes remaining, and we are still waiting for the other 6 drivers. That's Gibbons down in 10th, and then we've got Pepples, Owens, Faulkner, Liliorde, and Pollard, all yet to serve their mandatory pit stop. So it looks like they might have maxed out the fuel tanks to the 50% that we allow them as per this particular championship. And of course, as James said last week, we will be back for season 4, and that will be same format. And as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's it, and I did get told that earlier on in the Clio chat as well, because I come up with a wonderful idea in the Clios, and then I got told no as well. Apparently, the Clios don't like the idea of 2 one-hour-long races with pit stops at Le Mans and Nords. Apparently, so the Clio drivers are clearly not made of stern stuff, while the GT4s don't mind the hour racing and are made of a bit more of a sterner stuff, shall we say, as Gordon Haig is putting his Sim Racing Norway teammate here as well. Bjorklund under pressure. Is he going to, what do we reckon here? Is he going to hold station?
Well, you did say earlier on that the AMs can race with the pros, and I think Gordon Hauger, with the calibre of racecraft that we've seen over the past 3.5, well, more than 3.5 races, as last week was his debut. He said, I'm really here to have fun, and I'm looking to do the season 4. This is just, I think, just an aperitif for what we'll see from this Norwegian in the 71 McLaren next season, and obviously if he decides to stick to the McLaren, which seems to be his weapon of choice, and he's really enjoying racing against those in the top tier category. So folks, Gordon Hauger could be one to watch next season, I guarantee you that much.
Yeah, Chris Barnes is on his way now down to the last corner. None of the leaders are out of their pit box. Pebbles is now just only moving here as well. So Dan Pebbles is on his way out. He's there and he's escaped, but Barnes Pollard's on his way. Is Barnesy? He's shot by all of them, and at the moment, Chris Barnes finds himself in second place here after taking an earlier stop. Can he hold on, though, from Miles Owens, Anders Lilliorde, Mikey Pollard, and Paddy Faulkner? So Chris Barnes shot himself up into second. Question is he going to be able to hold on?
And Stuart Gibbons is now pitted as well so that will be the entire field with 12 minutes and 15 seconds left to go to have all at least gotten into pit lane. Faulkner actually lost 2 positions to both Lilliorde and Pollard in the pit stop phase, and Faulkner was in the box for 16.1 seconds. Lilliorde and Pollard 13.88 and 13.48 seconds respectively. So they had they were over 2 seconds quicker in the pit box, and that really allowed them to bypass Paddy Faulkner. And Faulkner's now got all that work to do again. But he's trying to put the pressure onto Pollard as Lilliorde's just got off. What's happened to him? He was very, very lucky. I hope he didn't get any damage, but this is going to be through Skyline as well. He just lost it. He was lucky.
Oh, mate, that curb is literally like Velcro. Normally, once you're on it, you're not going to be able to get off it. And he managed to get off it there as well. And Chris Barnes still finding himself in second. Fornaciari with Rachel Hoff now. These two have been going at it for most of the race here. And they've done a great job dropping down into the dipper. Now they're going to be on their run down into Forest Elbow. Hoff still managing to hold on, but she has got the Conrod straight. And that is always going to be dangerous.
Well, to be honest with you, even if Fornaciari gets through on Rachel Hoff, she's on for a second successive podium finish, because Tristan Engelstad is about 20 seconds away from this battle with just over 10.5 minutes to go. So I think Rachel, it doesn't matter where she ends up. If she finishes second, well done. If she finishes third, that's another great result for the number 44. And she has kept Fornaciari very, very honest with how long she's been able to defend in front of the Italian in the number 20 as they come out of the chase. And on the run down towards Murray's Corner, turn 23. And they did have a little bit of a hip check match between the two of them as Richard Simnor
that wasn't
cheering
me.
On.
As well, I need to point out for Richard Simnor, bless you, James, that wasn't me. That was a mic spike from Alex that rocketed through my ear roll. So as much as I'd love to say it was me sneezing there, Richard, it wasn't. It was Alex's mic spiked, and unfortunately it come growling through me headset.
Growling.
Yeah, all of a sudden you went right in my ear, and I was like, oh, ouch.
Says the man who said the iconic words that you hear at the beginning of the intro, at the end of the intro, which is Mick Barry. And I can't do it in the pitch that he is the man that says Mick Barry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Mr. James Parfitt.
It's renowned now. It's sim racing famous, that one as well. So don't you worry about that, but it was an epic moment, I've got to be honest. I fully loved that one here as well. Mikey Pollard got managing to hang on, should I say, from Paddy Faulkner. We've got Bramer and Haig not too far apart. Fornaciari has cleared Rachel Hoff and is now about a second up the road there, unfortunately for Hoff. Did get passed by Fornaciari. You can have a quick look. That's coming out the final corner and going into Hells in turn one there as well. Fornaciari sneaks up the inside, but Mikey Pollard trying to get away from his DCW teammate.
Yeah, I think the magnets of attraction between the two teammates the two teammates are happening, but Pollard is still about 2 to 3 car lengths as, Dan Pepples is in the pits. Has he just got a penalty?
Well, that's one way of ruining it. Oh, dearie me. He's going very slow. He's gone off. I think he's gone off and got damage.
Okay, so this is coming through the skyline on the curbing.
No.
Oh, he's hit the right front. Oh, dearie me. That was... He had at that point, before that incident, he had well over a 10-second lead. Oh dear. And he's now come out in 9th.
Wow. Well, high drama in the last 7 minutes here. And Dan Pebbles in the wall from the lead from about 10 seconds. And now Mikey Pollard and Paddy Faulkner. Pollard's in 4th, Lily Orde's 3rd. Chris Barnes! Chris Barnes, I've just realised he's on for the win! Go on, Barnesy, son! Have it! Love it.
But Owens is, what, 1.4 seconds behind? Let's going to have a look at their lap times. Barnsley was a second quicker on the previous lap. So there is pace in the 245 Mercedes. And what's more, folks, in the top 3, we have 3 different marques represented. Mercedes, Aston Martin, and Porsche. And let's not forget, last week we had a McLaren win the feature race. Now, Barnsley, is he still an AM or is he pro now?
He's pro now. He went up promoted last season.
Thank you very much for reminding me of that one.
No worries, sir.
But he's starting to pull away. Barnsley is now nearly 1.6 seconds up the road with 6.5 minutes still to go. Well, we've talked to Barnsley quite a few times in the past, haven't we, James?
Yes.
And he always goes like, yeah, I've been sweating bullets, but I've been having a lot of fun. And he's now just got to try and keep calm. He's got to try and keep calm. That's what he's got to do.
He's not. I can guarantee that right leg is twitching for Chris Barnes. He's going to be shaking. He's going to be nervous. He knows he's got about 3 minutes to go. He's got 3 laps to go, I should say, as they come over the line. 5:57, 2:14, 2:46. Yeah, he's only going to have about 3 laps. It's just whether or not he can hang on in that mark. Bramer's fastest lap, 2:14, 1:45. Faulkner there behind Pollard as well. Simler's in chat. Go on, Chris. And then he's also put snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Absolutely. For Dan Pebbles. I agree. He did. Well, yeah. It was all done and dusted, wasn't it? But here we go now. Paddy Faulkner. He surely isn't going to challenge his teammate, is he?
Oh, dearie me. All I'm going to say is what happened at the end of race 1. Let's hope that lightning does not strike twice, especially if it's a teammate that's in front of you. So
it is DCW.
Yeah.
No offence, boys. I've seen you crashed multiple times.
And that's been a running gag whenever we've been broadcast together. We've been talking about GT4s, haven't we, James?
Yes. Poor DCW boys do like to combat each other and see who's the last survivor there as well.
Oh, Pollard glanced the wall just then with the right-hand side, ever so briefly, going through into Silverman Park. Got away with it, so it's a bit of a nice little scrape down the right-hand side. So that highlight of the black highlights the yellow and the white might be looking a little bit second-hand, but that is just behind Paddy Faulkner, Kim Andre Bjorklund, and Richard Simnell saying, oh, we don't have team orders, but Bjorklund swarming all over the back of Faulkner, and that Aston Martin is going to be clutching the long straightaway down here at Conrod. But Bjorklund has got a toe, so this could help him a little bit here.
Yes, whether or not he can get alongside, he can't. I don't think he can. I think the Aston Martin's just got the grunt on him here, and the Porsche, even with the draft, just can't get close. Obviously, from Faulkner's situation, he was picking up a little bit of the draft from Pollard in front, but Kim Andre Bjorklund, even though he was getting the drive, he just couldn't get close enough there as well. So unfortunately for Bjorklund, he's going to have to, oh, he's run wide there as well, and now he's slipped back. Bramer and Haig are not too far apart here as well, Alex, as the sun's coming down. That's going to be right in their drivers' faces coming up that start finish straight, I can tell you that much. So they're going to have to be careful. Barnesy now 2 seconds. He's got 1 and 1 more here for Chris Barnes. Is he going to be able to hold on?
That depends on what Miles Owens has left in the tank, so to speak, as Barnsley makes his way through Quarry here on what is lap 19 out of 20. So done best part of over, I think, probably 125 kilometres by the checkered flag in this race. Barnsley is it's quite good. Mr. Simnor is definitely, he's going, come on, Chris, in capital letters. And before that, he said, oh, we don't have team orders, we want to race each other. Well, you know what sometimes happened, Richard? happens, Richard, when you've got teammates battling each other, and you know this from experience. All I'm going to say is you and Stein Beeman on the front. Enough said. Kim-Andre Bjorklund is now hustling that Porsche behind the number 19 into the S's, heading into the dipper. And the front end of that Porsche going over the curbs through into the dipper was bouncing up and down like a yo-yo on a string, and still the rear end kept the car planted as they're going to go through into Forest Elbow. This is the penultimate time be going down this straightaway. As Chris Barnes is going to be very, very comfortable because we are going to be on the final lap of this race. We will see Barney, the flag marshal, feverishly waving the white flag.
Hopefully.
There is Chris Barnes in the 245. It's going to come underneath the Armoural Bridge, head into the 23rd and final corner here at this 6.21 kilometre circuit. And the Triple Blades Oscar 245 Mercedes of Chris Barnes now go on to what will be the final lap of this race. Just over 6 kilometres to go. Barnsley still has a 1.6 second lead over Miles Owens, but Owens on that last lap was nearly 0.4 of a second quicker. There's Liliorde, there's Pollard, there's Faulkner, Bjorklund, Hauger. Look at how Hauger's really rocketed up the order. He could get a move done on Bjorklund in the next 5 kilometres or so. Ewan Bremer bringing up the rear end of the train in 8th position. Dan Pepples is about 6.1. And as I say that, I instantly, my eyes are drawn to Richard Simnor saying, what I'll say is we do it all for a hobby and a laugh. When we crash into each other, we have a giggle about it. Is that after the room's turned blue first, Richard?
I don't know, mate. If that is the situation, it's turned blue a lot of times in that DCW chat. I can tell you that much. Yeah, but I don't think they're like that. I think they just spend more time laughing at each other, to be honest. But you know, hey, we'll just have to see what happens next time we see Simnart out. Hopefully at the Red Bull Ring. Gordon Hay, Kim-Andre Bjorklund. Barnes is 1.6. I can guarantee he's going to be sweating. I can literally guarantee his legs going to be shaking. He's going to be taking early brake markers. He's going to be wanting to try and get this is the only section he's got to worry about. And of course, the problem is he's in the Merc. And the Merc, if it goes into the chase and he lightens that rear end up, oh, brother, he's going to go round. I don't think Owens is close enough to pick up a massive amount of tow, but he's starting to get a little bit closer. You can see it out 1.3. He's come down from 1.36. He's now 1.32. But is Barnesy going to hold on here, Alex, as we follow Chris Barnes through the chase?
So, timer expired a little while ago. It's hit 0, and Chris Barnes makes his way out of the chase, out of turn 22. It's the short run down the hill underneath the Armoural Bridge. And your winner in race 2 of round 8 here at the feature, it's going to be Chris Barnes in the 245, who nearly got James all excited there. He takes the win by a second. And it's another overall podium for Simrace Sweden, courtesy of Miles Owens, with Anders Liliorde. Started 14th, finished 11th. Mikey Pollard up 9 places from 13th to 4th. Paddy Faulkner, as here we see Ewan Bremer. Now this is going to be behind Gordon Hauger. Oh, Bremer smacked the wall big time. And
I don't think he was the only one. I think Hauger hit the wall first.
He did. I just caught the tail end of the YouTube, which I've actually got running whilst we're doing this. Yeah, it was like the right hand side of Hauger's car. He still picks up the win in the AM class. So this is Bjorklund and that was squeezing. Slight contact on the right rear of Kim-Andre Bjorklund's Porsche by Paddy Faulkner. I'm sure that he won't be getting any Christmas cards in 2024, to be honest with you. Bjorklund finishes 7th, but we look on board, and this is where it's going to happen. Into the final corner, bang! There's the contact, spinning him around. Hauger gets through to finish 6th. Dan Pepples recovers to finish 8th after his teammate Ewan Bremer hit the wall. Niccolo Fornaciari takes 10th, and another podium for the Italian. And what's more, rounding out the top 3 in Am, finishing 11th. Well done for the second race in a row to Rachel Hoff in the 44 Merc. Tristan Engelstadt will finish 12th and 4th in Am. Stuart Gibbons rounds out the top 5 in Am as we see Deck Crowther. It's been a bit of a race evening, I think, for Deck to forget, I'm afraid. And Rob Williams comes across the line. And that, as they say, is that. So Chris Barnes takes his first ever pro win in JPB GT4 Series racing by just over a second from Miles Owens, with Anders Lilliorde rounding out the top 3. Mikey Pollard and Paddy Faulkner ran out the top 5. Gordon Hauger takes a second successive feature race in a row in 6th, having started down in last place. Kim Andre Bjorklund, Dan Peppels, Ewan Bremer, and Niccolo Fornaciari, who takes second in Am, ran at the top 10. Rachel Hoff takes a second successive podium in P3 ahead of Tristan Engelstadt, Stuart Gibbons, Chris Evans, Richard White, and Torbjorn Mæhle. Deck Crowther finishes in 17th position ahead of Rob Williams, with Stuart Pearson a lap down, Gary McFarlane out on lap 7, Andrew Jones out on lap 4, and Stein Wieman opting to use this race as a dropped score. And that concludes the on-track action. So it's now time for us to go over and have a chat with some drivers.
Who would you like first, sir? There's a few waiting. Pick one.
Bring in our latest addition to the Pro Winner Hall of Fame. Let's bring in Chris Barnes, because I think we need to find out whether he was sweating bullets. Chris, good evening, mate. Firstly, congrats. You've finally won as a pro. You must have been sweating bullets the minute you took the race lead after that drama for Dan.
No, I've not. I didn't sweat. It was just a case of, right, keep it on the track. Don't make a mistake. Just keep. I knew Miles Owens was catching me, and I was like, just keep it on the track, keep it on the track. And then he made a mistake, and I managed to gap him, and I managed to hold him there. And I was just praying for the white flag. I was just like, every lap, come on, white flag. It's got to be. It's got to be.
But you must be on cloud 9 right now, mate.
It's it's a surprise, I must say. It's only because so many people didn't race tonight, and pure luck that I was there. But
Hold on, shut up. Shut up. Don't even go there. You had Peoples, you had Bjorklund, you had Haig, you had Faulkner, Pollard, Lilliorde, Owens. The only one you didn't have was Richard Simnar, and he's sat in YouTube chat. Don't even underdo yourself anymore, Mr. Barnes. I'll tell you that much. Otherwise, when we meet up, son, you're in trouble. Don't do that. You did a great job. You drove amazingly, and you've took the win, deservedly so, regardless what you think, dear sir. Anyway, sorry, Alex, I'll shut up now.
Okay. Yeah, no, fine.
No,
okay,
that's all right.
we'll take that.
Right.
We'll take that.
Yeah, put your point. Yeah, but after it was looking really, really comfortable being in P2, but now that you've had that opportunity, you've now got a win under your belt as a pro. That's only going to give you a bit more motivation just to keep on pushing. Am I right, mate?
Definitely. I like I say, I try and practice as much as possible when I can. Me and the team are always putting sessions on or jumping in the practice sessions. So, but I think this track comes down to bravery, and if you've got the bravery over the mountain, you tend to do quite well. And last time we raced here, I went backwards at the top of the mountain twice, so I was fully expecting that tonight, and it didn't happen. So yeah, I'm very happy with my result. Yeah.
And how are you fancying the Red Bull Ring next week, mate, for round 9?
Yeah, I like the Red Bull Ring, but we'll see. Hopefully, I can be up there again. It'd be nice.
Well, Barnesy, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go this evening?
You guys for broadcasting, as always, doing a good job. Blade Designs, Triple P, yeah, all the team there, everyone that's part of it, everyone that practices with us, and all the racers in here. Great league, great fun.
Brilliant. Barnsley, thanks so much for your time, mate. Get yourself off and enjoy your evening, mate. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate. Take care. See you later.
I like the way you just interjected.
I have
Like you
to.
went,
I'm
hang
sorry.
on.
No, you can't.
You had to.
Yeah, you can't take it away from him. You know, and that's the thing. Oh, because people were trying. No, there was literally Richard Simnar and Stein Weber, and that was it. The rest of them were here. They all made mistakes. They ended up down the back of the order. They didn't make the reverse grid work, and he went and dominated it. He jumped them all in the pits. Peoples went and trashed himself out. You know, it's not. Yep. You can't take that away. And for Chris Barnes, he needs to know that he's done blinking well here this evening, taking that victory. So, no, I wasn't going to let him take it away from himself there, Alex. He needed to know he did amazing.
He did indeed. He kept his calm. And like he said, you know, I wasn't nervous. It was more a case of just, okay, is it one more lap to go? He was counting down. And I think that probably sort of kept him a little bit on edge, but kept him calm more than anything else. You know what? Let's bring in our AM class winner, 2 for 2 in features. Gordon Hauger, good evening. Well done. Another victory. And, well, I can't, despite the fact of being given a pit lane start for race 1, and you didn't have a good race 1, let's be completely honest, but you came back firing, 16 positions gained. That McLaren has got some real pace in it, especially around this circuit.
Yeah, the car is crazy, and I love the track. So yeah, it was very fun. From way behind to six pace, was it at the end?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very happy with that. Was a bit unfortunate in the first. My plan was to take the 15th place, so I had pole position in race 2. But yeah, it didn't go. It didn't go to plan.
So you had to instigate Plan B, which was rocket up the order and scythe your way past. I mean, and you of all people making it 3 wide through turn 2. That was absolutely crazy. I don't know how you made it, but you've got definitely a big set of cojones to do that one at such a fearsome circuit. But still, to get a second AM class win, of course, your second appearance with us here on season 3. How do you fancy your chances at the Red Bull Ring? Because, of course, very different track, a bit more open plan, so to speak, a lot of runoff area. How are you fancying your chances for next week's event?
I'm not too good at that track, and I don't think the McLaren is. I think the Mercedes and the Porsche is quite good there. We have to see. Anything can happen, but I don't have any big hopes.
So, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go, Gordon?
Yeah, the teammates in Sim Racing Norway, Kim and Torbjörn was a little bit unlucky today, and of course Anders, the Norwegian guys, and you guys for doing this. You're doing a wonderful job.
Brilliant, Gordon Hauger. Thank you so much for joining us here in the interview room, and we'll see you next week for round 9 at the Red Bull Ring. Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, big thank you to Gordon. Let's bring in Anders Liliorde back in action after missing out at Long Beach. Anders, good evening.
Good evening.
So, 2 successive podiums, a P2 in race 1 and rounding out the podium in the second race. But for a Norwegian 1-2 at Mount Panorama with Kim Andre in front of you, must have been a pretty good feeling.
Yes, it was fun. The first race was very fun, and lie in front there and just go for the pace. So we are probably equally fast, and it was no point try to pass him. So yes, it was fun.
Also, just about race 2, we noticed that you had some damage on the front end of the Porsche. How much speed did that cost you per lap? Was it like half a second, 0.6? Because when you get damage on the front of the vehicle, especially on the front splitter on these GT4s, it does affect you on straight line speed, doesn't it? Especially round Bathurst.
Yes. I didn't notice so much time. I didn't follow so much on that, but I did see the car in front did go a little bit away from me, and the car behind did get closer. So I did probably want to go to pit a little bit before, but I just did go the stint out. I think that was a better choice.
And next week we go to the Red Bull Ring. What's your experience of that, and are you looking forward to the challenge?
That's a nice track to race this cars on. I have done it before a couple of times, so I'm looking forward to that. So
Brilliant.
I think the Porsche is pretty decent there too.
Brilliant. Anders, anyone you'd like to give a shout out before we let you go?
Yes, my other teammates in Team Vikings who is not racing here, and friends and family, and to the boys in Sim Racing Norway.
Brilliant. Anders Lilliorde, thank you so much for joining us. Well done tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, time for our last interview of the night. Let's bring in Kim Andre Bjorklund, winner in race 1, finishing 6th in class. Kim Andre, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, that first race was a bit of a firecracker. We did have quite a few incidents, but you managed to keep out of trouble. Still had some dramas in race 2, but still a very good evening for you when it comes to points.
Yeah, I feel actually pretty good after this race.
And to have a Norwegian 1-2, we just had a chat with Anders. And he said there was no point in me passing Kim Andre because we would have lost points, and that's a very good thing to do, considering the fact that it's never easy around a track, and when you've got a limited amount of laps, sometimes you have to look, well, what's going to be best for everybody. So to get another win this season, and still to get a top 6 at the end of the race night. I think when we saw the incident with, I think it was Gary McFarlane and Andy Jones, and you got slightly blindsided by that, didn't you?
I think it was Tristan Engelstad and Dick Crowder.
Oh, okay.
After the spin by Winman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was that was the opening lap. Yes.
Yeah, it was Gordon that was involved with Andy Jones.
Did that affect the car in any way in terms of any damage that the car sustained?
Yeah, big damage at the front. I suspect I had lost a lot of top speed, and the steering wheel was pointing a bit to the left. So, and it felt weird at the start of the race. But
yeah, especially when there's a lot of left-hand corners. But well done tonight. A good haul of points for you. You're looking forward to the Red Bull Ring next week?
Looking more forward to that than this track.
Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Kim Andre, before we let you go?
Of course, my team. Always my team. And you guys for sharing this craziness with the world.
Brilliant. Kim Andre Bjorklund, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks.
You know what? I think we might have. Shall we bring this man in, James? Shall we bring in Paddy Faulkner?
If he. Oh, hold on. Where's he gone? Oh, yeah. No, hold on. No, wrong one. No, he's gone.
Oh, he's in the way. Oh, I think he's in the
how did he end up down there?
I don't know.
All right, there we go. He's in. Sorry.
Paddy, good evening.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Not too bad. You've had a very, very exciting, action-packed couple of races tonight, haven't you?
I must admit, it's been quite fun. I've had a hell of a bloody time.
I didn't know whether you were in GT4s or whether it was Dodgem cars with that Aston Martin, but from your perspective, Bathurst does bring drama, and you were caught up in the crossfire quite a few times.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty rough out there. It was some good racing though. I think race 1, there was a few bumps and scuffs, which you're going to get because as soon as anybody slightly touches the ball, you get a huge run. I think race 1 was a bit fun at the end, to say the least. I've never been pushed sideways so much in a car, and lucky enough, I had triples. I was just waving at the guy who was pushing me. It was good fun.
Well, you're saying, "Cooey, I'm over here," sort of thing, was it?
I just didn't know whether to blow him a kiss or hand him a donut. We're that close. I didn't know what was going to happen. No, but it was a bit of fun. I know it was. I think coming into that chicane, I think me and Mr. Pebbles, I had a bit of a run on him, so I went on the inside, kept to the line, braked at the usual point. He kind of chopped my nose off, which is fair enough. It's racing, and then he had a bit of a wiggle mid corner. So I stayed on the line, and I accidentally clipped him on the rear, I think, as he gathered it up. I don't know whether he was trying to come back onto the racing line or not. And then it was a spin, and then somebody in an Aston Martin, I could hear that, I knew that, and then that was it. I was going sideways down to the last turn, and in a big cloud of smoke. It was very dramatic.
Funny enough, that was his teammate, Miles Owens. So literally, as the incident between you and Dan happened, Miles was actually behind the pair of you. And then as you've ended up you having the slight contact with Dan, and then Miles has ended up nigh on T-boning you, which is why you were pointing more towards the pit lane than the inside of Murray's corner on that final lap. We saw the big cloud of smoke, and we saw that side of things. But anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, buddy?
Just the usual idiots at DCW Racing and AI Race Summaries, all them lot. And hello to you guys. I haven't spoken to you guys in a while, so hello.
Brilliant. Okay, Paddy, we'll let you go. Have a good evening. We'll see you next week at the Red Bull Ring.
Doodle pip. Bye-bye.
I was really tempted to say TTFN, Tatar for now.
Yeah, in with his doodle pip there at the end. But yeah, good evening to racing, and on we go on to the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, so that's it for round 8 of the JPB GT4 Championship Season 3. Next week, we head to the Red Bull Ring to round 9. So, on behalf of James Parfitt and myself, Alex Goldschmidt, thank you so much for watching the JP Broadcasting Network. We have got a lot of action. Don't forget, you can go to jpbroadcasting.com. If you haven't hit the notification button, if you haven't subscribed, do so. It will update you of what we got coming up. We've got all the usual suspects happening. We've got GT3 Series 7 for TSRC. We've got Road Atlanta Radical Race Series. We've got round 3 of TSRC F4 Sprint. We've got the TCR Euro Sprint Cup Season 3 round 6. And of course, IGB Fun along the way. So thank you very much for tuning in. And as I always like to say, if in doubt, flat out. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Cool.